Hey guys, it's me, Christina, and I have a review of Everneath by Brodi Ashton. This is the first book in the 3-book trilogy. So this is about a girl named Nikki Bennett, and 6 months ago she was taken to Everneath. So Everneath is kind of like hell, but it is with Everlings, so they're immortal, and there's these things called forfeits, which are humans who are taken to the tunnel, and it's just really creepy. And this story was just amazing. I loved it from page 1 to page 371. So it was just so good. I loved everything about it. So this one named Nikki has been there for 6 months, but it's felt like 100 years. So when she escapes the Everneath, but before she escapes, the shade attacks her and marks her. So she has this mark that is like the shade kind of living in her. So when she escapes, she has to deal with family and her friends and her boyfriend, and who is the one she left. So when she comes back, it's kind of weird because she doesn't really spend time much with her family for someone who's only there for 6 months, because the shade is going to come after her and she's going to have to go to the tunnels. But then there's Cole, who she was spending 100 years with. He's the Everling who took her. I liked Cole in some parts, and then I hated him again. I was like, which part do I hate? And then there is Nikki's former boyfriend, Jack, who I didn't like at first, but then I grew to like him because I just wanted him to be happy, because he went through so much after Nikki disappeared, because he was so sure that someone had taken her. So kind of someone did, and he just ran himself ragged, and I just felt so bad for him in certain parts. But when she comes back, she wants to make amends to her family and leave them at peace. And she has a little brother named Tommy, and she has a dad and a deceased mom. And her mom died because of a car crash that happened with a drunk driver. So we see this story from the past, before she was taken, and then in now. So the past, you deal with all of her Jack issues, is he cheating on me with this girl named Lacey, who I did not like, or I felt like there was something always going on between Jack and Lacey, and I didn't like. That's probably one of the reasons I didn't like him, because he always skeevy about that, and I think he led Lacey on also too, and I kind of felt for her in some parts. And Nikki is being bothered by Cole, who's you have to come back so you can be my queen, and you don't have to be taken by the tunnels, and you'll be immortal. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'll have to feed off people, and you feed off their energy. And it's I'm just I felt so bad for Nikki, because she is in this terrible situation where she doesn't want to leave her family and her friend Jules, who we really didn't see much of. We saw maybe a few snippets of her, and they had this nice conversation almost to the end of the book, but we really didn't get to know her. So I hope in book 2 and 3 we do, because she seems like a really nice friend. And she was there for Jack, and I was thinking that Jack and Jules were together in some parts, but they weren't. And then a lot Nikki's dad is mayor, and he's worried that this will ruin his election. When he always talked about his election and her, and I was just shut up. You're worried about your election when you should be concerned about your daughter. And I just like didn't like when he would always talk about his election and like accuse her of things, and I'm just like, shut up, like you need to like focus on your kid. And he would always like talk to his dead wife, and I felt bad for him when he did that because he missed his wife. And other things, like he made Nikki work at the soup kitchen, where she meets this old woman named Mary, and she was like really odd, and like when we first meet her, she like goes crazy, and it starts to like connect, like I'll talk about it in a few minutes, like when like Mary and like the story, it kind of connects like down the line of, because then like what happened in the past. So Cole keeps bothering her and like wanting her to be his queen, and like I'm like, you're a little creepy dude, but you're funny in some parts. Like he had some funny lines, like before he was like this guy who he was in this band called the Dead Elvises, and the other Everlings who are in his band are like creepy as him, and I just like, but he always like has this guitar with him, and he's always playing it, and he always comes into her room and like plays it, and like she is also working on like this essay in Greek mythology, and Jack is always there, and she's trying to keep a distance from him because she doesn't want to bother him, and then but she finally has to talk to him because then Cole and Jack get in a fight, but Cole was like in a disguise, so he was in a disguise where he was Neil, and Jack gets in a car accident, and I was like so worried, like because, and then he's like, tell me you remember you love me, and like because like Nikki doesn't really have her emotions ever since she left from Everneath. She can't really like dream. It's kind of odd, like I don't really understand some of it, but it was just, and then they finally talk, and like he wants to know like what happened, but she can't really tell him. So the night of like the Christmas dance, like that's when like really crazy things start to happen, like, and then Nikki notices like that Cole is going to like the stop and go, and like weird things with like the Everlings are happening there, and there's like something with the queen, and I'm just like, what? And then the Christmas dance was when things really got weird. So Cole and like his band like sort of like controlled the motions around everyone in the dance, and everyone started attacking each other, and like he explained to Nikki that like once like your heart, it's like kind of like our emotions are like seeping into other people, and it was just really, it's kind of odd, and he called it a cracked heart, and I just thought it was really weird. And then after that, she goes to Jack and she explains like everything, like where she was, like everything about that. And then the next day Jack is like, can we talk? And then she's like, yeah. And then Cole comes to her, and then he like, Jack is there, and then Neil, and in his like Neil disguise, Neil and Jack shake hands because they got in a fight before, as I said, and it's just a little weird. And then she explains that Cole can change his appearance, and then Jack and Nikki work at the soup kitchen, and then Mary's there, and she's asking Jack if Nikki forgave him, and then we find out that Mary is Meredith, this girl who's dating Maxwell, a guy in the Dead Elvises, and she, like, when she went into Everneath, she aged, but Nikki didn't, because Nikki didn't age because Jack was, like, thinking about her, and, like, never stopped like thinking about her, and I thought that was really sweet. And I just love this book because the Greek mythology is just like really interesting, but you can't stop reading because it's just like freaking amazing information. And like she's like worried because the shade is gonna like get her and she's gonna have to go to the tunnels, and Cole just keeps telling her like, you have to be like my queen or something because you're gonna have to go in the tunnels, and like it's just really bad. And then like all this stuff happens, and then Jack and Nikki are trying to figure out a way to stop her from going into the tunnels. And so they're like trying to find all this information, and then there's this thing called the Sisters of Persephone, and Mary was like a part of them, and it was just really odd. And she left 2 days before Nikki, so she gets taken first, and it's just like really creepy, like this giant like black cloud. And I just love this book. So, and then Mary gives Nikki her bracelet, and we find out like there's these like hieroglyphics on it, and then we the teacher like gets this professor to like look it up, and it's like mostly you have to like find like the Everling's like heart and kill him, so they want to kill Cole. And they're like, well, he doesn't keep his heart in his body, so where does he keep it? In his guitar, the thing he always has with him. So their plan was to go over there and tell like Cole, oh yeah, I'm gonna come with you. And like Jack's like, oh, it was my idea, like. And so they wanted to distract Cole, so Will, Jack's older brother, who's in the war, so he can get the guitar and smash it, and then Cole would be dead. Well, it kind of doesn't work, because they do smash the guitar, but that's not where his heart was. His heart was in the pick, and he has the pick. So I'm just like, oh my god, they're screwed. And then you see like this black cloud like is coming, and we know like the tunnels are coming after her, and Cole's like, it's your last chance, Nikki. And I'm like, shut up, Cole. Like she's been through a lot. And Jack is like, well, maybe you should do it. Maybe you should. And she's like, no, I don't want to feed off people. But then at last minute, Jack goes into the tunnels, and I'm like crying. For someone who I didn't even like really connect with until like probably like, I don't know when it was, but I was like crying. Like I felt so bad for Nikki. And then after like this like happens, Cole like comes to her, and she's like, I want you to leave me alone. And the only time she could see Jack is in her dreams, and it's like really sad. But she plans to get him back. So that was my review of Everneath. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I'm on book 2, and then the last book is Ever True. And I just think everyone should read this who is like interested in Greek mythology. It's just a really good book. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. Happy reading. Bye, guys.